Boys, I saw this video of Alex Hormozy's the other day, and he said this thing. I'll try to say it word for word. He said, "Success is measured by how much," or I don't think he said that, but it went something like, "You should try and put as much of tomorrow's pain as possible onto your current self." And when you think about that, it really makes sense, cause like, dude, literally it's a universal law. Like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And that equal and opposite reaction in society is being successful, being the best, or just being that guy, just being, the one that is the most successful in your family or your school or wherever. If you're trying to prove some shit to people, or even if you just want to live a better life, that requires an equal and opposite input. So when you put enough pain into today, then, sorry if y'all can hear that. That's my little brother. He's so annoying, bro. But you have to be able to put as much of tomorrow's pain as possible into the present. And your success, I believe, is measured by that. So if tomorrow, like one example, like this is autistic, you could say, but like if you have some video that you need to record tomorrow, like this one right here, it's supposed to be out today, but I just caught myself pushing it off to tomorrow. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just record it right now. And I just try to remember like what was the most valuable lesson I learned today, and I made the video. Here I am. And that's one of the most valuable lessons that I learned today. Right? So stop trying to push things off. So something that you would have pushed off to tomorrow, just bring it to the present moment. When you take as much as tomorrow's pain as you can into the present moment, that equal and opposite reaction, it'll go from being pain in the future to pain in the present. Just pure delayed gratification. You literally, there's in one person's lifetime, there can only be so much pain and sadness and hard work and pushing through stuff, right? But if you take as much of that as possible from the future and you bring it into the present, now you're in the green. You start making your future just better and better. And then eventually you run out of pain to have. Like you worked so hard in the present moment that your future is just guaranteed to be good. And at that point, you're just doing it for the love of the game. If you're making $10,000 a month, if you put in enough pain, effort, and just learning to make $10,000 a month, you're pretty much good for the rest of your life if you can get that consistently. If you can get that, your life's set, bro. You're good. You can live a pretty chill, comfortable life. At that point, you've already removed 99% of the pain and suffering that you're going to have from like, medical bills or like, oh yeah, car accident or like, oh no, I can't pay the bills. All that is gone. You just removed the majority of actual significant pain that you'll have and your life is removed. Your kids are going to be like, okay, for the most, like they're not really going to struggle. All right. So at that point, you're just in the green now. You're just in the business of making your life as better, as above average as possible. And if I made a video on this recently, but if you're competitive, dude, you want to be more than 10,000 a month. You want to that should be the bare minimum. Just a baseline, like good life should be the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? The goal should be to be the best, to be the guy who displaced as much of the pain and suffering and sadness and whatever from the future and bring it into the present moment. And that's a skill. That's a skill you develop. Most people. I'm reading this book. It's called Stolen Focus. My books are back there, but I don't have the book right here. Sorry, there's like some got in my eyes. But I'm reading this book called Stolen Focus, and it talks about how people's attention spans are fucked, bro. It's so bad. Like people can't focus on anything. I really recommend it, by the way. That book's it's amazing. And it talks about how people's attention spans are fried, and they just can't live in the present moment anymore. Now that has nothing to do with like what this video, but in a way, it's like if your biggest issue is something that you don't even know is your biggest issue, which most people don't know, that scrolling on social media, scrolling on TikTok, and just scrolling in general is bad for them. You have beat 99% of your competition. And I did the math the other day. For people in my age group, so I put 15 to 18 year olds, there's only about, I think it said 200, 300 million in the entire planet. So I eliminated those that don't speak English or don't live in a first world country. Okay, now there's, 100 million? A first world country? Or like or modern language speakers like English or like I don't know what's a common English, Chinese, Japanese, fucking I don't know, Spanish. So everybody outside of those languages and those countries, I really remove them because like they don't have the equal opportunity as I have, right? And then I even narrowed it down. I was like, okay, who's working as much as me? Who's actually dedicated? And it went down to like there's really only like 50,000, which is insane. So hold on. So there's really very very limited competition, and you're competing with how much of those people are willing to replace that pain from the future into the present moment. That's the real competition. Are those 50,000 guys that are like the same archetype as you? If I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're like within like 14 maybe. That's low, but congratulations. That's a good thing if you're watching this video at 14 to like 22. In our age group, there's what 500 or maybe like 800 million, maybe a billion. No, it's not a billion. 800 million, let's say. Dude, you have 800 million to compete with, and 99% of them are retards. So you're competing with the top 1% in intelligence, and most of them that are the most intelligent, the top 1% who aren't doom scrolling on TikTok, who aren't staying up until like fucking 2 a.m. like fucking retard, like idiots, literally messing up your sleep cycle. It's the worst thing you can do for yourself, and just all these things. That 1% is gonna end up of the 99% of that 1%, the 0.99% is gonna end up being like doctors and surgeons and shit. Which congratulations, you're stressing yourself out in an ER and you're dissecting people. Okay, now you have 0.1% people to compete with in our age group, and that competition is fierce, bro. And so you need to be able to displace that pain, take as much of tomorrow's pain as possible into the present moment. And if you can do as much of that as possible and you can delay as much gratification as possible, you will beat those people. And that is essentially what... And the thing is, it doesn't even have to be pain. If you love what you're doing and you actually enjoy what you're doing and you're just in it for the love of the game, bro, you're not going to actually like hate doing it. If you enjoy being that guy who's like in his room, like, bro, I'm just chilling in my room, got my lighting right there, microphone, finished a whole session of like deep work just now. I did a lot of shit today. Dude, why does my face, bro, my face is looking bloated, bro. That sucks, man. This is why I hate going on bulks, bro. I mean, it's not a heavy bulk, but still fucking annoying. Anyways, if you enjoy just being that guy who's just always working, but he's like, it's enjoyable work for you, and you're like in that state of like locked in, waking up at 5 a.m., getting work done before everyone even wakes up. If you enjoy being that type of like archetype, you could say, or you're just not the same as everyone who just enjoys scrolling, dude, that's all you really need. If you actually enjoy doing the work that you're doing, and you enjoy competing, and you enjoy the process leading up to your success, or to being the person that you want to be, or to your goals, you're doing it for the love of the game at that point. It's not even painful. If you could sit down and do 2 hours of recording content, if you could sit down and read for 2 hours and your dopamine isn't fried, you'll be able to be just about anybody. Like, you think Ronaldo became successful because he was suffering during soccer practice? No. I mean, to an extent, that's where the discipline comes in. And I can go into a whole different tangent about how dopamine levels are messed up, and that's why most people can't succeed. But like that's gonna take a while. But actually, I'm gonna go into it. Who cares? Dopamine levels are fucked, bro. Dopamine. If people are always hyperstimulated, essentially, if your baseline's up here, and the work you need to do is down here, you will never enjoy the work. If your baseline's here and the work you need to do is up here, boom, it's gonna be more fun to do the work than normal. Most detail I'm gonna go into it with, for that sense. So your baseline should be higher than what it is. The baseline should be lower than what it requires to do work. And most people are fried, so they're not even gonna reach that. But if you're that guy that enjoys doing the work, that enjoys the pain, or like not even pain, that enjoys the process, you could say, you're quite literally unbeatable. Like the guy that like Iman Ghazi, he probably enjoyed doing the work. Alex Ramosi, actually he looks pretty mad a lot of the times. I don't know. But he looks like he actually enjoys the process. He looks like he loves business, bro. Because he does it all day, every day. When you truly love something that much, bro, like, nothing's going to stop you. So I guess that's the moral of the story. Don't fire your dopamine system. Be competitive. And be willing to displace tomorrow's pain and take it to today. Literally, every time you're about to do some retarded shit, think, all right, literally tomorrow morning, I'm going to be slightly more uncomfortable because of this. So just take that pain from tomorrow, take that slight discomfort, just bring it to the present moment and just savor that shit. Because you know that tomorrow, bro, it's going to be a better day. Because you're sacrificing your current self for your tomorrow self. And that's essentially just delayed gratification. Delay your gratification.